Good afternoon, Sriram. Thanks for coming
Good
online.
afternoon. Good afternoon, Ralph.
Actually, just to give you some background about this initiative, what we are doing is we are trying to relaunch our YouTube channel, which is already there, but we are trying to relaunch it with a few more interesting interviews and few more materials. And my observation had been that the manufacturing industry people, they learn best from the experience of others. So seeing people like you, when you share your views and your opinion and so on, I think people enjoy that much more. They learn from that much faster. So that's the reason I thought I'll reach out to you and talk to you.
Sure. Always a pleasure talking to you, Ralph.
Thanks, Sriram. So now I think the world is going through something which is probably I think our generation has never seen. Maybe the World War II was the biggest thing that happened earlier, and then perhaps this is the Corona pandemic which is hitting us. Now there is always the businesses right now are closed, most of them at least, but they are responding in some ways. They are trying to react to this. What are your views, Sriram? How are companies responding to this situation right now?
Yeah, okay. I'll take you through my own personal experience in this rather than speak of somebody else. The immediate reaction was here and now mode. Panic followed by concern about the uncertainty. How am I going to manage the immediate cash flows? How am I going to make the statutory payments, mandated by the government? Also the salaries which were coming slightly, a week later or so. And a little bit of scenario planning, but most of it was panic. I mean, to be very honest with you. Okay. Then I think after a couple of days, the panic kind of settled down when you start working with your team and talking about different things, and so you start getting into a near-term tactical mode.
Right.
And so you go into hyperdrive, trying to cash in on the emerging opportunities in healthcare, see if you can somehow get the company opened up, not thinking of anything else, but saying, can I help out in some way? Can I retool the company and try to get some design and engineering going into healthcare items? Even though we do a fair bit of healthcare devices, but not something like a ventilator. So that we get into that kind of a tactical mode, I would say. And then communicating with teams goes on. And then the third phase is the most interesting, because that's when you really settle down after a week or so. You have taken care of your immediate problems, immediate concerns of cash flow and payments and all that. So you get into a slightly long-term strategic planning mode, where you say, look, a pandemic is a great opportunity. What is coming after this could be a massive transformation. So how do I start planning for that? How do I make the company ready for this? Even though there is a lot of uncertainty, can I look at various scenarios that may play out? What would be the industries or the segments that would move up? What would die out? And then, some kind of a realistic thing sets in, saying, maybe you're going to lose a few things, but you're going to gain a lot of things, if you're ready. Ready. As Louis Pasteur says, chance favors the prepared mind. So you actually start preparing after the initial panic. So those are the kind of three phases that I have gone through, and I think most of us would have gone through, maybe not in the same sequence, but there, it'll be there.
Right. So just taking further what you're saying, what you're saying is, okay, organizations can take this opportunity to sort of do something better and then go to your next stratosphere actually. So this is a good thought actually. Can you expand on that, Sriram? Okay, how leaders can help their organizations to use this opportunity, it's a calamity, no doubt about that, okay, but to use this current situation to help the organization to go to even a next level.
Yeah, see, it's a no-brainer that you have to transform, right? All organizations have to transform. I called it the tsunamic transformation of the world now. What we are going through, That's a term that I coined in one of my blogs last week.
Right.
And so those that transform and reinvent themselves, to use a cliched term, will be the leaders of the next decade. And what that transformation is, we'll definitely talk about. But I thought of 3 or 4 ways in which I can define this. One, I would say go digital.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is going to be touched by digital, and this is a no-brainer for me. With less touch and feel, social distancing norms, I think everything and anything would get touched by digital. So that is one thing, go digital. Also, I would say go short term. I think the days of long-term business plan, strategic business plan, 5-year plans are gone. You're going to have wave after wave of transformations and transitions. Not only because of the pandemic, or it's going to come back again and again. I'm not talking in that. I'm saying, there will be suddenly some business that falls after a small gap. Like that, there would be transitions that would keep going on for several years, maybe several months, several years. And so this wave after wave of transitions and transformations that you're going to see, there's going to be a lot more uncertainty than what was, say, 2 months back or 3 months back. So go short term, and be nimble-footed about it. And then go green. This is something that we're reinventing ourselves. When we see the pictures of peacocks coming back to the Mumbai streets, I think everyone loves it. They're all going to now start saying, let's go green. Let's do our little bit to the environment. I think the common man never realized what go green is, being in India, but I think now everyone realizes what going green is. So go green. Sustainability is going to be a real thing for companies. You better be fully sustainable, otherwise, you're going to go out. You're going to be thrown out. And the fourth thing is go values. Just do the right thing. Stress on value systems, value beliefs, greater purpose. Be generous. Don't be charitable, but I'm saying be generous, and define what is the right thing and do the right thing every single day. So go values. So these are the 4 goals that I would tell companies to follow.
Wonderful, Sriram. I think it's a good mix, right from technology. You are talking about environment, and you are saying let's talk short term, which is the most important, because actually that leads to my next question. That is, now the companies in this sort of situation, it is very tantalizing to get lost in the here and now, saying that, okay, last month in January I built so much, okay, my God, how much am I going to build in March and April and so on. So the here and now is always very tantalizing and pulling the people into it. So how do you think we should let the teams look at the next level also, in addition to the here and now?
See, to be very honest with you, first 2-3 days of the lockdown, it was March 24th. So 2-3 days of the lockdown, I was completely driven by that. How do I close this month? How do I have a good year? I think it's all credit to both my team and my bosses to have calmed me down at that time, saying, look, this is going to happen. You cannot wish it away. So let's just plan ahead, right? So I think the leader basically has to be absolutely calm and collected in front of his team. He cannot panic. He can panic privately, but he cannot panic in front of them. And he cannot show the panic. He cannot keep bugging people about things. That is one thing. Be calm, collected every time you're in front of the team. Do little more team meetings, but don't talk about targets or don't talk about numbers and things like that. Talk generally. Have meetings not to lose the habit of having reviews, but don't review like you would pre-coronavirus, right? So that is one thing. And then I think slowly but surely start delegating the tactical day-to-day issues to your next level team. Once you know that they have got a handle on things, but keep a sharp eye, do reviews, but don't be your normal self where you're driving numbers, driving people, back off a little bit, calm down, show the calm in your actions as well. 3, pitch for the long term. Don't think short term at all. It gets to be a habit after a while, because the long term is going to be very different. So keep pitching the long term, stress on a certain set of values and the overall bigger picture. So pitch for the long term, constantly do this with your team, constantly do that with yourself, so that it becomes a habit. And then I think spend a disproportional amount of time building your new networks. Your old networks are intact, of course, keep in touch with them. You've got time on your hands, but start building new networks, because those are the ones that are going to help you in the new world that's going to be the post-COVID-19 world, right? And understand the emerging trends. The new networks would help you do that. So we have been into groups we have never heard before. We are on call with MIT on almost a daily basis the first few days, and then now we are on a twice a week basis, and we are talking to people whom we would have never imagined in our lives we'll be talking to. So these are very interesting. And then also start talking to the government. Government has a lot of good things to say at this point in time. They're making policy. They are looking at the situation with a helicopter view. So they're giving you lots of insights. And like I said, double up on stressing the overall bigger picture and the mission. If you already have a mission, just keep stressing on it. If you don't have one, make one. For this. Luckily, in Syrma Technology, we had always this mission as a tandem group that we are here to empower rural women, and create employment opportunities for rural women. Wonderful. So keep stressing that. That is never going to go away. Whatever happens, post COVID-19, that mission is never going to go away. If you believe in it, you'll make it happen, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So those are some of the things you can do.
Wonderful. A very good mix of, your thinking coming into place there. Now, any change, as we know, I think it is going to create a lot of disturbance for people in their minds first, and then maybe some of it will spill on to their work also. Now, this is a huge change. What we are talking about is something, I think, a total change. So now, justifiably, I think the teams will be under stress, both at home as well as at work. A big change happening. Now, unless there is a consensus about this, saying that, okay, this calamity can be used to sort of take the organization to the next level, probably the leaders will find it very difficult to move the people along with them. Now, how do you think leaders can approach this, that is, taking the people along with?
See, for me, some of the key success factors are, like I already said in my previous answer, just be seen by the team as focusing on doing the right thing. That always builds consensus. If you are trying to do the right thing, team will always rally around you. That I have always seen. And then be seen as fair, reasonable, and trying to build a consensus. Maybe you were a very directive sort of boss all these years for some reason, because the organization was like that. But I think change, start building more consensus around things, at least for getting through this whole crisis, and then you can decide later you want to go back to your old style or bring in the new style. But I think this is the time to build a lot more consensus with your team. Wonderful. And then any team is going to have believers, it's going to have doubters, and it's going to have disruptors. So focus on the believers. Listen very carefully to the doubters, because they may not actually be trying to disrupt anything. They may be be playing devil's advocate and giving you important insights. So listen to them carefully, and convert those doubters into believers by addressing their concerns. But if you find one or two, disruptors, you have to neutralize them. How you do it, what is your style, that I leave it to the person listening to this, but neutralize them.
Okay.
And then again, coming back, ad nauseum, to say this again and again, I think articulate the bigger purpose. That's very important. Keep saying that, pitch for the long term. So in spite of uncertainties, your team believes that you've got a plan. Maybe you're clueless as much as the next person, but once you pitch the bigger picture and the mission, I think team thinks that you have a plan, so they'll go along with you.
Yeah.
And be seen working harder than most other people. Bring in insights from the external world. Talk about the webinars you have attended. Talk about the people you've met on TV. Government officials you have talked to. So these are key inputs for the team. Team is normally very internally focused.
Right,
when you bring
right.
the external news stories, the external insights, that's when they appreciate you. They say you are working as hard as all of us. So
Right.
I think, and then last but not the least, be willing to accept mistakes, because all of us are going to make blunders during this. There's going to be huge blind spots. You're going to be making a lot of blunders during this times of uncertainty. I think be ready to accept your mistakes quickly and change the next, quickly adapt yourself to that. So that if team sees you doing, they'll say, okay, this guy is as human as all of us. So, I think it's not a bad idea following what he's
Right.
Yeah, those are some. I don't know if it will work, but that's my plan.
No. I think definitely everything has to start from an idea and a direction. I think that's what you are giving. I think everybody is in this crisis together. Now, I think people like you giving your ideas and your viewpoints, I think it helps a lot. It helps for people to clarify their own minds.
Right.
So now, Sriram, every company has some perennial issues they will always be having. I think probably, do you think companies can use this situation to solve some perennial problems and go to a different arena?
See, I think crisis always, brings out the best in all of us and also makes us work as a team. Normal course, you may be very disruptive, you may be a loner, but a crisis always brings out the team man in you. A few perennial problems for any organization will be the resistance to change. I think in what you asked me, I think the answer was already there. The resistance to change is probably a perennial problem that most organizations face. On top of that, I think the external world is very fearful for most people on the inside. So they're always kind of worrying about what the external world is doing. And then so my answer to that is resistance to change is always going to be there. Some amount of hand-holding, some amount of forcing the change and saying that it's going to be okay, is one way. And the other thing is, ask the team to take note of the new realities of the world. I think they're going to be much more open to listen once you give them the right insights from the external world. These are the things that are happening, and as you start having social distancing and limited number of people that you can employ and space together, I think automation almost becomes, even in low labor cost countries, I think automation is going to come in and will be here to stay. That's what we are looking at. So I think articulate this to the team. Say, look, going forward, I think our people are going to move up to much higher value added work than just doing, simple handy work. So be ready for that change to happen. People are going to be utilized, even though they are low labor cost. They won't remain low for a very long time, number one. Number two, I think they are going to move up the value chain and start adding much more value. So one day you will not find these low cost workers anymore. They will be high cost. So it's better to automate now rather than later. And this crisis is actually going to make that happen. And then on the other side, the government is going to say you can't closely space people and work anymore. You have to have a certain distance, which means you can only pack so many people in a shop floor that you used to. Maybe if you're packing 100 people in a space, you're probably going to pack 30 people. So which means you have to automate to that extent. And then become, I think, system and process focused. I think that is going to happen, in as an aftermath of this calamity. I think companies which have traditionally been system and process focused are going to do well, and the companies which haven't are going to have to move to that reality very, very soon. So I think that is something that's a reality, and I think these are the perennial problems. One of them is not being system focused, but once you're process and system focused, it could be through automation, it could be through industry 4.0 kind of high-end techniques, or it could be simple TQM, TPM tools that you use for day-to-day problem solving, simple training for your people, whatever. I mean, there are simple tools, there are very high-end tools. You can decide what works for your company, but I think there are ways to solve the perennial problems a company faces in a situation. I think great opportunity to make the team rally around these ideas. A crisis is something that really helps it.
Looking at what's coming in newspapers, Sriram, I think this crisis is not going to end very soon, not like 1 month, 1.5 months, but maybe it will go on for 12 months, 18 months. That's what I keep hearing.
Right.
So once the vaccine is out and people are immune to this virus, whether again the situation will be back to normal in all the companies. For 1.5 years, everybody is worried, but after that, again, it's life as usual. And then people throw away whatever they have started off and go back to their earlier way of working. You think this will happen? And if it's going to happen, okay, how do we make sure that people don't slide back?
No, your question is a good one. I mean, it's a very realistic one also, I would say. That's reality. Organizations normally do certain things during a crisis and then quietly slide back into the conventional ways of doing things. So you're not wrong, but that happens if the disruption is short and the bounce back is very quick.
Okay.
From all signs of it, this calamity, this crisis seems to be having a long tail or going to have a long tail. There is probably going to be not an easy or a quick bounce back. So to that extent, it may be a longer thing. But even after that, like you said, a vaccine comes out, everyone becomes comfortable. What if people just go back to their old ways? Definitely there is a chance, but I think that is where I think a leader has to inflict some pain to put it kind of very brutally, right? Of going back to the old norm. The pain of going back to the old norm should be higher than the pain to stay in the new norm. So
right.
It need not be physical pain. I mean, it can be.
I understand.
But the more important thing is, I think, publicly and often recognize and reward people who follow the new norm, who don't slide back. I think that works much better. If the organization is seen as recognizing publicly and rewarding people very openly, and reward and recognition need not be money, or gifts.
Correct.
It can be a good word, it can be a praise, it can be public praise in front of their colleagues, and do more of that. I think that's how people like me have to change. We should give out more praise to people who follow the new norm, follow the new process standards or the system standards, become systemic. So that can make a big difference.
Right.
And recognize them through gifts and money also. Nobody stops you from doing that.
Yeah.
But that's not the only thing.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I mean, what you're saying is take it in a positive manner rather than trying to punish the people who are falling back. I think reward the people who are going forward so that people will understand that that's the right way. Okay, so that's beautiful. You have put it very beautifully. Now, definitely, I think like what you're saying, this coronavirus and this pandemic, I think it's going to have a long tail, and then there's going to be a lot of effect on the industry. Maybe the way we do business will change. Do you think it will change, Sriram? And then what may be a few changes that may happen?
See, like I said, it's going to completely transform the way the world operates. We used to operate before that. So what would be the business practices? From that, I'm sure you'll get the answer to your question. See, some of the business practices that we are going to look at post-COVID is, a strong risk analysis and risk mitigation. We have been doing it not truly in the spirit of risk analysis, but for the sake of doing it. But I think we have to do real risk analysis and mitigation plans. That is already in, for all companies. I think I already mentioned in a previous question, true sustainability, in letter and spirit is something that we all have to practice. You call it going green or you call it sustainability, whatever name you give it. I think that is here to stay. That's going to become a way of life rather than flavor of the month. So be ready for it. If you are not, heart, mind and soul into it already, get there and plan, budget the additional costs that will come out of becoming fully sustainable. And then, like I again said, process automation is going to be the norm almost even in these low labor cost situations. So I think look at value stream analysis, look at lean, look at automation, but don't look at automation for the sake of automation. Automation that really brings up your throughput, improves your social distancing norms. Those kind of automation will make eminent sense. So throwing people at the problem is no longer going to be the way. It's the last thing you do, because people eventually will go into higher value add positions, jobs. There will be deeper engineering, and I think that's where I think India is eminently placed in this situation, because we have always had deep engineering and knowledge related products for which we were sought after by the world. Anything that had to be done mindlessly in millions and millions of pieces, they never came to us. They went to China, went to other places. But when there was deep engineering and knowledge required or expertise to be put into the product, that's when they came to India. And I think that is what is going to be India's moment in history because of this, because of this transformation. And then be nimble-footed, agile. That goes without saying. I think, like I said, there's going to be wave after wave of disruptive and short-lived changes that's going to happen. So be very agile and nimble-footed. And then the fifth thing is, again, to repeat what I said, digital and tech is going to touch every aspect of our life, from agriculture to rocket science, to space. So don't wish it away. You have to have a significant part of your business that is digital and that is tech oriented.
Wonderful.
Otherwise, you're not going to survive. So I think these are the 5 things that you could do. Not necessarily in that order, but any order, but make sure that you do these 5 things. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. I think, see, this is a situation where many leaders are sort of scratching their head and then trying to think of saying, okay, how do I respond to this situation? And I could see a lot of discussion on LinkedIn and everywhere where still leaders are not clear as to how to respond to this situation. So in this situation, I think senior leaders like you sharing your views and your opinion, and you are also very clear, Sriram, on every question. I think you are very structurally giving your answers. So I think this clarity is something which is very sought after. Okay, so I think definitely many people will benefit from your views that you are giving.
Thank you.
So thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we will keep coming back to you for more,
Sure.
because as you said, I think the situation is going to last for a very long time, and then we are looking at creating a good discussion around this situation so that everyone can learn from each other.
Sure, Rao. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and stay safe, stay healthy, stay home.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I think
you.
we'll come out of it very soon.
Thanks, Sriram. You too.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Rao. Thank you.